Okay, I'm good now, I think.
Okay, you sure?
No.
Hello, everybody. This is episode 1 of Mastertech Journal Series. This is Dave and Linda here. And today we're going to be talking about what is Mastertech AI. I'm sure a lot of you are wondering what it is. So let's get into it. Linda, you and I just went through Founder University. And one of the biggest things that I took away from this is how challenging it is for founders to articulate what it is that they're actually building. And it's kind of funny because it's like, as founders, you should really know what it is that you're building and better than anybody else. But if you can't communicate that, like a lot of us founders fail to do it first, then no one's going to buy your product. So I am very impressed by how far we've come. You've really carried all the weight there on the pitch end of it. So at first, our pitch was like 20 minutes long. Then we cut it down to like 7 minutes. And then this recent one, we cut down to 2 minutes. So I'm really impressed how you were able to do that. And yeah, maybe you can walk us through a little bit of your experience on that and maybe walk us through the 2 minute little pitch of Master Tech.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we've learned a lot since we started, and I think there's a lot of mystique about pitch decks and how to pitch and how to talk to investors. And there seems to be like this whole sort of like culture and science around it in recent years. And I think honestly, sometimes it's a little bit overly done because people then are trained too much on how to impress investors and how to talk like investors, which oftentimes kind of doesn't always align with what's best in terms of building a product, or a company, and that, solves the real problem for users. So it's definitely like a really fine line. But at the same time, it's good to at least learn like some of the basics for what investors are looking for and how to communicate your ideas effectively. And like you said, we've come a long way. And at first, we were struggling to get through a pitch in 15 minutes. And I think it was like Herculean effort just to get it down to like 20 minutes. And now it's like we have this like, really short, concise 2-minute pitch. It's a format that is kind of taught at Founder University and Launch, and it's kind of their standard for um, the pitches that go through the program. And it's a really great way just to be like really concise about painting a story. And what they say is it's a teaser to the movie. It's not the movie itself. It's enough to get you interested to learn more, to set up a more detailed meeting with an investor or someone who's interested to, learn more about your company. And it just includes just enough, right, to get them interested to come to the full movie. So yeah, so with that being said, so I have a previously recorded 2-minute pitch here. So we'll play it for you guys and then we can kind of talk about, some of the elements. Hi, we are Mastertech AI, and we're using AI to make auto repair faster, easier, and safer for shops and DIYers. Meet John. John is an auto technician working at an independent shop. Unlike in dealerships, John needs to be able to service any of the up to 60,000 unique models of vehicles that exist in the US today. However, there is no software platform that can easily aggregate all the information he needs. As a result, John will often only rely on his personal experience, and with a shortage of qualified technicians in the industry, vehicles are often misdiagnosed and repairs are done incorrectly. Mastertech AI will aggregate all technical service bulletins, community data, along with the vehicle's personal service history and test results, so that John can easily access all the information he needs to quickly root cause vehicle issues. Additionally, when it comes to repair procedures, Mastertech AI will guide John through OEM specifications and procedures with the AI conversational interface. Mastertech AI will also index the most relevant DIY demonstrations from YouTube, where parts, tools, steps, and warnings are extracted. This ensures that the job can be done safely and efficiently, preventing mistakes and comebacks. There are over 240,000 auto repair shops in the US. To get to 10 million ARR, we will need over 2,700 shops. To get to 100 million ARR, we will need just over 27,000 shops. Our team consists of myself with 17 years of engineering experience at Microsoft and Niantic. My co founder Dave has over 2 decades of experience in the auto repair industry, including owning and operating a 7-figure shop. Thank you. We are Mastertech AI, and we're using AI to make auto repair faster, easier, and safer for shops and DIYers.
That first slide, I loved the best. That was probably one of the most impactful changes that you made in this 2 minute pitch.
This one?
It's, yes. So at first, what we had and what a lot of founders do is they just tell what their product is. But what you did here was you talked about John, a technician that has real pain points, that's a real person, and real solutions to those pain points. So it really, I think, immerses the viewer into and whoever you're pitching to into John's world, really, which a lot of founders seem to be missing, which we certainly missed at first. So that was a great takeaway from Founder University.
Yeah, I really like this format, and this is kind of the format that they really encourage for all of the founders that go through the program is you start with the user journey and the user story. Um, because as founders, you're solving a problem that you're intimately familiar with. But for almost anyone that you're pitching to, they're not going to be familiar with your specific problem that you're solving, the specific industry, the what customers you're trying to help. So really important to pick your ICP. So that's your ideal customer profile. So someone that's it doesn't have to represent all of the customers you're eventually going to serve, but at least the initial kind of like target customer that is going to be most helped by your product. And then you want to walk through their current situation, their how the problems they're facing and how they're currently solving them. And usually it's not in a very good way, which is why you're building this product in the first place, so you can replace it with something better. But it's really about that story of identifying a specific person that anchors the entire pitch, so that you can then see kind of from their perspective, understand their problem, their life, and what they're trying to accomplish. And then when your product comes in, that makes a lot more sense for what it does or how is it beneficial to people.
Well said.
Awesome. What were some of your other takeaways from the pitch deck?
I would say just again condensing it down to 2 minutes. It's a great exercise to just really force you through that constraint of that time bucket, which is incredibly important. And before we were spending like on the TAM slide, uh, we were spending like 4 or 5 minutes with some of the VCs that we talked to on the TAM slide, and we were doing, I think we were doing top down TAM at that point, but just doing the bottoms up TAM and just getting right to the point. We had so much stuff on this slide before, and now we trimmed all the fat off of it, which that's the most important thing. Again, when you're pitching to investors, is just cutting out all of the fat, all of the fluff, just getting them the information that they're looking for as concisely and quickly as possible.
Yeah, and maybe I can add a little bit about what is top-down TAM versus bottoms-up TAM. So, in Founder University and even before Founder University, it's like of all the material I studied, right? It's like having a bottoms-up TAM is so much better and more preferred than a top-down TAM. So, what is a top-down TAM? So, a top-down TAM in this case would be something like auto repair is a huge industry. Auto repair is a 100 billion trillion dollar problem in the US of how many cars are being repaired. And, with our product, we want to take only 5% of the total auto repair software market, right? And, you know, I think the actual numbers for auto repair software is something like 100 billion already. So, you know, So if we do something like that, it's like, oh, of course this is a massive problem, but it's also kind of what they call a fake TAM. It's what Jason calls a fake TAM because it has no grounds in reality. Because the product that you're building is not gonna you're not targeting the entire TAM, right? Like, like who are you serving? Are you serving dealerships? Are you serving auto repair shops? Are you serving DIYers? Are you serving these other like service based companies in the industry, right? It like there's a whole variety, of things, and so you have to really narrow it down to starting from the customers that you're serving. So for us, we are targeting auto repair shops, specifically starting with independent auto repair shops, and there's about 240,000 of those. And you do bottoms up by saying like, here's how many shops there are, and here's how much we're going to charge them. So when we have our go to market with our product, we want to charge $300 per month for our product, which is similar to some of the competitors in this space as well. And so you do $300 per month times 12 months times this number of shops to get to 10 million ARR, 100 million ARR. And so this paints a picture, right? Because now someone sees it and they're like, okay, so there's 240,000 shops in the US. They only need 2,000 to get to 10 million ARR. So that is 1%, essentially, a little bit over 1%, if they want to do that math. But it's also a concrete number. So it's not just a percentage. You can visually like see, right, like how it's possible to get to 2,700 shops, in your mind. So it's like, okay, this is a feasible number and we can have a plan to and growth to get there. Um, Whereas the top-down TAM is just lacking all of those details. The other thing is that why past the 10 million, past to 100 million? Where did these numbers come from? So, so for most early stage, or I would say for most VC investors in general, what they're looking for is ideally an 100x return, right? For if they're coming into seed stage and later, especially, right? Um, and pre-seed is like, okay, you can maybe have a little bit, it's like, okay, if they have a little bit smaller of an exit because they're coming in at a lower value, then that's still okay. But ultimately what investors really want to see is uh, getting a big winner. So it's like, it's okay, they're okay if 90% of their investments go to zero, but if they hit one or two big winners and unicorn winners, then that will kind of win them the entire fund. The expected return of the entire fund is from one or two big winners. So that's kind of the game that they're playing. And in order to be considered a unicorn, which is a $1 billion valuation company, what you want to get to as a like a SaaS product is 100 million ARR. Because typically, right now the valuation is about 10x multiple for your revenue. So if you get to 100 million revenue ARR, then you are sort of considered have roughly 1 billion in valuation. That makes you a unicorn. So so investors want to see how do you get to 100 million ARR? Like how many customers does it take to get there based on your business model? And then the step before that is how to get to 10 million.
Perfect.
Hope that was not over explaining it.
No, I think we can tie that back into what is Mastertech.
Yeah. And I think we can maybe jump back to some of the initial product slides. The other tip that, like Jason always talks about is, getting to see the product within 30 seconds of a pitch. So we kind of are a little bit behind that. We're like 39, 30, 38 seconds, but it's not too bad. But you do want to get to your product as quickly as you can after you shown them what the problem is, because that's when people really understand like what it is you're doing and what you're building and how you're providing like something that is a value add, right, for the problem that you're solving. Um, so Mastertech, we are helping. There's a lot of, I think, opportunities to make an impact in this industry. That I've been learning so much about for auto repair industry, shops, and the everything that's kind of related to that business. But at its core, how we started this thing and kind of how we're what we're focusing on building right now is really just something that helps technicians do their work more efficiently, uh, faster, easier, and safer, right? So that's our mission, and I really believe that kind of after reviewing all of the current tools that people like Dave are using on a day-to-day basis, it's pretty terrible, like, and it's pretty shocking that this is how like the vast majority of cars, like our cars on the road, are being repaired today. And there's a lot of safety issues, there's a lot of quality issues, and efficiency issues as well, because there's all this information out there, but there isn't like a great platform that can tie all of this together easily, effectively, and efficiently. And so we're really trying to just bring together all of the things that the technician needs for like vehicle specifications, for if there's known issues from technical service bulletins, OEM specifications for specific parts and specs, and for torques and things like that, and procedures that might be different from vehicle to vehicle. And right now, because all of this information is so hard uh, to find and even to read through, a lot of time it's like this, that step is skipped, right? Or it's like not absorbed correctly, and it leads to like um, misdiagnosis, you know, uh, inaccurate repairs, and just lots of issues, and it hurts everybody in the whole ecosystem, right? From the shops to the technicians to the consumers, and to having safer cars on the road. So we really believe that if we do our job right, we can actually transform the way that work is done in this industry, and that really affects like everybody and society as a whole, right? If we can make the system better, faster, more efficient.
Yeah, that's great. And I'd really like to amplify that uh, the current tools that the technicians are using, that we're using in the shop, they are incredibly challenging and difficult to navigate sometimes, to where it's almost you run this calculation in your head just on the fly, like, is it worth actually trying to find this information? And we optimize and take shortcuts wherever we can, and that ends up biting us in the ass quite a few times per day. As vehicles get more and more complex, so does the information requirements. So, for example, on certain vehicles, when you're now doing an oil change, you actually need to plug in a scanner to be able to reset for the oil procedure or the oil light. And sometimes it'll throw a check engine light if you don't do that. So it's then an hour for the technician to, try to figure it out. And when you get in that mode, you're really like fight or flight, where you're not really thinking effectively because you have the customer that's waiting in the lobby that's, screaming your service writer's head off, and you're just trying to figure out what happened. And we do have a tendency to go to worst case scenario in that. And so it just, there's so many issues that are popping up nowadays with the complexity built into these vehicles, and that's where we see a big opportunity with Mastertech, just to be able to help technicians get the information that they need as quick as possible.
Yeah, and with so much of the advances in AI, um, so so one key aspect is just being able to retrieve information quickly and efficiently. The other aspect is that AI can actually make a huge advances in diagnostics of the vehicle as well. So, there's a lot of sort of innovation happening on the medical side for patient diagnostics, based on test results, based on like these, visual, they do an X-ray, or they do like some kind of colonoscopy or whatever it is, right? And or do blood samples with all this data. It's sort of like the perfect um, aggregation of that data is for the AI to do better and better job of diagnosing all of that data to figure out what is the most likely root cause of these issues. And we're trying to apply the same thing to vehicle diagnostics as well. So like vehicles are just like people, like they have problems, they get sick, and you take them to the shop, and you know but it's kind of a wild west, from everything I've learned. Like um, it's like, and I think if we can, use technology to really improve the diagnostics, that will actually, um, could really change the economy of, this ecosystem, and to the benefit of everybody. So I'm just, yeah, really excited.
I think what's really interesting about how this conversation turned is we spent the last like 10 minutes talking about what Mastertech AI is. And I'm sure we lost a lot of viewers. So if we still have any at this point, I think this just illustrates and highlights the importance of having like a 2 minute pitch, because you
Yes.
can always add more information. And that's what we found with the 2 minute pitches, is that when you get the viewer interested, then they'll ask questions. And that's your opportunity to say all of this stuff that we just end up word vomiting just because we're excited about the product, instead of giving the listener, the most important person, the customer, the opportunity to ask the questions that they're most interested in.
Yeah, absolutely. It's another way of saying, if we started, on this side of the conversation, we'd have lost all of you guys before you even heard what our product is. So it's good. This is why this format exists. So it's great.
We This was all planned, so that's um okay, great. And I love your car human being analogy. I think that's great.
Yeah.
The old ones leak. That's there's so many amazing ways that we can go with
Yeah.
that. But
Cars are people too. So okay, I'm good now, I think.
okay, you sure?
No.
Join us next time for episode 2 of Mastertech's Founder Journal series.
Yes. See you guys next time. And yeah, if you guys like this content, give it a like and a subscribe, and we'll make more. So
And if there's anything you want us to talk about, anything you're curious in, please just put it in the comments and we will get to it.
thanks for watching.